We're talking about a very expensive, very complicated lie, and how a simple wooden ruler in one specific map reveals the whole thing. We're done with the science fiction. We're looking at the blueprint, and once you see the blueprint, I really hope you can understand what you're looking at. This is Alexander Gleason's 1892 New Standard Map of the World. On a globe, the shortest path between two cities is called a great circle, and they tell you it's a curve or an arc. But on this map, that same path is a perfectly straight line. Same path, same distance. One map shows you a curve, this map shows you a straight line. The question you have to ask is which one matches what the pilot actually does with the wooden ruler in the cockpit. Because in the real world, the shortest distance between 2 points has always been a straight line on a flat floor. This J.S. Christopher map just refuses to lie about it. When a pilot plots a long distance route, they don't draw an arc. They take a ruler, they draw a straight line on a chart. They follow it. The straight line is the physical act, the physical behavior. They only call it a great circle afterwards to keep the globe cartoon alive in the textbooks. But look what their hands actually do. Ruler, straight line, flat chart. If you're flying straight on a map, you're flying straight on the ground. The map matches the movement. How about a number that ends the argument? 0. This is how many times the pilot dips the nose downward to compensate for the curvature of the Earth. If you're flying on a ball with a circumference of 25,000 miles, you would have to continuously descend to stay at the same altitude above the surface. The instruments would have to account for it. The autopilot would have to correct for it constantly. It doesn't. Pilots fly level, relative to the ground, across a stationary planar projection. Now, globe defenders will show you a photo taken from 35,000 feet and point to the horizon sitting just barely below the center of the frame. They call that curvature drop. But there are 3 things that they never tell you. First, on a globe at 35,000 feet, the horizon should sit 3.3 degrees below eye level. What they show you is a fraction of that degree. The math doesn't match the image they're using as proof. Second, that slight drop in the frame is not land. At 35,000 feet, the ground is so far away, it falls below the angular resolution threshold of any camera or human eye. You literally cannot resolve the ground at that distance. What you are seeing at the bottom of that frame is the point where the atmosphere becomes optically opaque. You're seeing air, dense accumulated air columns, not Earth. Third, the horizon doesn't drop, it retreats. Those are not the same thing. A vanishing point always appears at eye level on a flat plane because that's what perspective does on a flat surface. The ground recedes until you can no longer see it. That's not curvature, that's geometry. They're showing you the optical limit of the atmosphere and writing the word curvature underneath it. That's not science, that's a caption on a photograph. We are told we live on a spinning ball in a vacuum. And yet, when navigators calculate positions across oceans, they use the intercept method, math that assumes a stationary plane. Curvature is never a variable in the equation. It's not accounted for. It's not corrected for. It's a conceptual addition bolted on after the fact to satisfy the model. The math that keeps ships and planes from crashing into things doesn't need a ball. It has always worked on a flat stationary baseline. That's not conspiracy, that's the operating assumption written into every navigation manual ever produced. So what are we actually inside? There's 3 components. The source, a localized energetic vortex at the center, the projector of the entire system sending harmonic light frequencies through the circuit, the screen, the atmospheric moisture acting as the volumetric medium. The luminaries we see above us are the output of that light hitting the refractive layer. And the output, what the globe model gives you, is just the image on the screen, a 3D visualization of a 2D planar projection. We're not looking out into a cold, dead vacuum. We're looking out at the screen of our own atmospheric system. The stars are not trillions of light years away or trillions of miles away. They're local. They're the image that's projected onto our screen. That's what all the luminaries are. They're all celestial lights projected onto our screen, reflected perpendicular back to the observer. Every observer is the center of their own universe. Let's look at it side by side. The shortest path, the globe says it's a curved arc. The flat plane shows you a straight line. Then we have flight deck reality. The globe says you're curving around a ball, but the instrument shows straight level flight. Finally, the Gleason plot. The globe calls it a distorted projection. The plane shows you a perfectly preserved straight line. The horizon, the globe says it drops with curvature. Your eyes show you it always rises to eye level because it is the vanishing point on a flat plane, not a curved surface dropping away beneath you. In every single row, the physical observable reality matches the plane, not the ball. The globe is the cartoon, the plane is the territory. Everything comes from the center, a central black hole electromagnetic hub, the heart of the projector. This is what the globe model was specifically designed to hide, the father. On a globe, there's no center. You're a random speck on a random rock orbiting a random star in a random galaxy in a random universe. Meaningless, accidental, lost. But every navigator, whether they know it or not, stays perpendicular to this central source to maintain true course. The entire navigation system is calibrated to a center, a fixed point, an intentional origin. The globe decentralizes you to keep you from finding it. The globe is a prison for your mind, body, and soul. It doesn't just get the geometry wrong. It gets your identity wrong. It tells you that you don't matter, that you're cosmically irrelevant, that the universe is cold and empty and you're an accident inside of it, that you're evolved from a monkey. But once you see the projector in the screen, once you understand that you're the focal point of a precise intentional system, everything changes. You're not a passenger on an accident. You're the observer at the center of a masterpiece. Reclaiming the center is not just a geometric correction. It's reclaiming your soul. 3 things. Look at these 3 things together. An eclipse, someone standing up in a movie theater blocking the projector. A localized interference in the light path. Not a rock millions of miles away casting a shadow across space. Or a selenium eclipse where the shadow comes from the wrong side of the moon. Like, people don't put that together. And then we have the Gleason Map. The one map where math finally makes sense. With a straight line the pilot actually flies, there's a straight line on the chart. And the ruler, the shortest distance between 2 points on a flat plane. That's all the proof a navigator has ever needed. 3 independent confirmations, the same answer every time. Local, flat, intentional. Stop watching the cartoon. Start looking at the ruler. The ruler doesn't lie. The pilot's straight line doesn't lie. The horizon retreating to your vanishing point doesn't lie. Only the mainstream cartoon model lies, even though it's really half-truths. For example, you have a sphere of vision. In that sphere of vision, you're looking out to all celestial lights that are equidistant, perpendicular to the observer at all points. So what do? They put a globe in the center of it and put you at the center of the globe. But what they're doing is they're reverse engineering the actual geometry. They're putting you on a flat plane exactly where you are, but they're just drawing a cartoon globe around you to make you think that you're actually on a globe. But they're measuring from the center of the globe. When have you stood at the center of the globe? Only when you were the center of the universe in reality, not on a globe.